Do you know that if you happen to desexualize your brain, you'll become unrecognizable? You'll become so great within yourself that life will start feeling like it's actually a blessing to live. And you will have such kind of insights and such kind of fulfillment from within that this is when you will start transcending from the ordinary to be the extraordinary. If you look at any successful people you admire, any athlete like LeBron James, Virat Kohli, Novak Djokovic, Roger Federer, all of these people, they have been able to desexualize their brain. They don't go to parties. You won't see them at parties a lot, like very rare. And even if they go, they have one wife. You have not ever seen LeBron James, Virat Kohli, or Novak Djokovic, or Roger Federer to actually date multiple women or to be with other women except their wives. And everyone has a different way of desexualizing their brain, but only when the brain is desexualized and actually concentrated over a single task that you'll be able to achieve what you want to achieve in life. And most importantly, you'll be able to find true joy and fulfillment. So in this video, I will show you how to do it. But before we go over that, let's understand, why do you actually engage in sexualizing your brain through pornography or immature sex through multiple people? Well, in order to understand this, you have to know your brain has a need for dopamine. So dopamine is a feel-good chemical, right? It's the chemical our brain is constantly chasing, and it needs it in order to feel happy, excited, passionate, and the desire to live life. So all of us has this need for dopamine. Now, when that dopamine comes through a high level purpose, a mission you're after, a goal you're after, on a deep relationship you are in with your wife, that dopamine is great. So this is why when a man and women unite out of love, the dopamine that's released through sexual activity actually elevates the man to greater heights. This is what Napoleon Hill says in his book Think and Grow Rich. If the emotion of sex and the emotion of love is in alignment, the man will reach great heights. He's clearly mentioned in his books. This is why people like LeBron James, Roger Federer, David Beckham, Virat Kohli, they only have one wife and they only have had one wife. And this is why these people are so great, because they know, although they can date any woman in the world, they have to stay concentrated, disciplined. And a loyal, loving wife helps you to do that, okay? But when, let's say if you don't have a wife and you're single, just like me, and if you are engaged in either masturbation or you're dating multiple people just for sexual activity, what you're actually doing, you're wasting that sexual energy. Instead of having that sexual energy go up, which goes through discipline and love, that's why these successful people are so successful, you're actually depleting that sexual energy. You're actually wasting it. So yes, you have a need for dopamine, but because you're not able to have that need fulfilled through productive, creative, and purposeful activities and mission and relationship, you are on the other side. You are wasting it, you are abusing it, you are actually hurting yourself in the process, and though you're having some sort of immediate pleasure in the short term, you're also signing up for long-term pain. And that's the mystery behind it. So the need for dopamine is real, and we are masturbating or having sex or even going after a mission to fulfill that need. The need is justified, is an inevitable need, but how you cultivate it and how you fulfill it will determine if you actually go down or you will go up. Now, here's something that Andrew Huberman, who's one of the most popular scientists right now, he shares. The higher the dopamine peak, the bigger the downfall afterwards. So what happens through masturbation or sex? This is the one way where you will experience the most highest dopamine. Now, if you do it through sex, it's very productive. If you do it through masturbation, it's depleting. But the dopamine level, the dopamine spike is high. So after sex, when the dopamine spike is high, a man feels nourished. He feels, rejuvenated, and then his creativity, his enthusiasm goes higher, and that's great. But through masturbation, it actually goes very down. So though you masturbate and ejaculate and feel that illusionary spike at that time, the downfall is so much higher after. And this is why people who masturbate, they have low energy, they feel depleted, they feel anxious, they feel stressful, they feel depressed, and then they also have this tendency to take away their lives. Now, before we learn how do we stop this, we have to find out the reasons why you should stop this, why you should put a full stop at this and just learn and practice to desexualize your brain. Now, this is all proven by research from multiple people like Andrew Huberman to many stars I have experienced and researched. So this is all researched and said by the most successful people on the planet. So number one, it makes you feel insecure, depressed, and anxious. When you masturbate and having too many sexual thoughts regarding women or even men if you're a female, immediately when you engage in sexual activity or masturbation that's not purposeful, it makes you feel insecure, anxious, embarrassed, and shameful. And shame is the most difficult emotion, or rather an emotional baggage to carry. And if you have gone through some sort of shame in your life, you know that how heavy you feel when you're feeling shameful and guilty about something. And masturbation is the ultimate form of self-abandonment, is the ultimate form of self-betrayal. So when you do that, you feel that. Now, number two, Andrew Huberman says that addiction to pornography actually makes you disinterested in sex or finding sexual partners. He has said it openly on multiple podcasts. Why? Because when you're constantly depleting your energy, you start having a strong self-hatred towards yourself. And when you have that self-hatred, you feel that you don't deserve anything good. You don't deserve anyone great. And also your confidence and energy is so low that you don't find attraction or reciprocation from the opposite sex. And when you don't have that, and the results are showing that no one is interested in you, your interest and desire to find a sexual partner actually goes down. Number three, this is very major. You do not last longer in bed. Most women complain that their men do not last longer than 10 minutes or 15 minutes. It's like they engage in sexual activity and after 10 minutes or 15 minutes they ejaculate. Now, actually what's happening here is if a man is addicted to masturbation, even though he's having sex, he's actually not having sex. He's actually just masturbating through a woman. He's just only concerned about his pleasure and his ejaculation and his relief and not giving any pleasure or joy to the woman. Now what it does, it makes a woman disinterested in you, it makes a woman lose trust in you, and it makes a woman to actually not want to be with you. Now number four, this is very major. Masturbation makes your nervous system depleted. It exhausts the dopamine capacity of your brain. So you masturbate, right? And then you feel that high spike, correct? And after that high spike, immediately there is a fall down of dopamine. But because you have been practicing it for so long, you are caught in an emotional loop. You're caught in a habit. And because you are caught, you are not able to get out of it because your familiarity of the brain with this pattern is so strong that you're not able to get out of it. So you're stuck into it, you're addicted to it, and since you cannot break it, you feel like you're losing, you're feeling like you're failing, you feel like you're being defeated by your mind. And then the same mind gives you all kinds of self-critical talks like you're not good, you're not worthy, you're shameful, you're such a disaster, and that puts a man into depression and anxiety. And this is why many youngsters are unfortunately committing suicide, because they're stuck into a pattern that is completely disempowering, completely unhealthy, and because they're not able to break it and still doing it, they feel like, I'm defeated now. And then they feel like, well, I'd rather just take away my life. But that's not the answer. Number five, it makes you get needy and obsessive around a woman, and women do not like that. Women do not like obsessive and needy guys. Women adore guys who are disciplined, who are self-controlled, and who are going after a mission. Let me share something with you. A woman will always want you to have her as her number one priority, and the moment you make that, she will lose interest in you. But if you have a mission or a purpose as your number one priority, and you're putting that into the most biggest limelight, and you go after that, that sparks so much attraction and surrender in a woman for you. And then she serves you, she wants to contribute to your mission or purpose, and that makes her be with you. And same goes for a woman, for a man. If a woman is respecting her body and she's continuously not allowing anyone to abuse or play with her body, then that will attract a man, because the biggest desire a man has in a woman is that she will be loyal to him. Now, let's share why is it so difficult to stop, even if you want to stop it. The reason why it's so difficult, because you are in a loop. You are stuck in a pattern, and you have strong emotional attachment to the pattern. So here the pattern is masturbation or sleeping with multiple partners. Now you have a pattern. You do get high dopamine from it. So the need for dopamine, although illusionary, is being fulfilled through this pattern. So although you want to break it, like your body is feeling tired and your mind is like feeling suffocated, and you want to really get out of it, because that emotional attachment and the emotional charge behind a pattern is so strong, and still your need of dopamine is being fulfilled by it, you're not able to break it. Now comes the main part, how to break it. Now what I'm going to share with you is not only backed by science, but is also backed by yogic science. And I believe, in my eyes, yogic science is far, far, far ahead of the modern science, because modern science is all about experimentation, coming to the result, while yogic science, where sages became enlightened, and then when you are in the state of enlightenment, you access the truth of reality of life. And what they share is truly eternal. I have tried in my life and it absolutely works. So you have to tackle this problem and desexualize your brain through three ways. You have to work on the physical dimension of your life, the mental and emotional dimension of your life, and then the spiritual dimension of your life. So let's talk about the physical dimension of your life, for which I have a method I call the WEST method, W-E-S-T method. So W stands for water. If you want to desexualize your brain and take your brain away from the energy of masturbation, which is a very low energy, to the energy of self-control, water is an absolute, amazing, incredible resource, because water has very high purifying vibes. Our body is made up of water, right? Our brain, it needs, I think, 70% or 85% of water to survive, correct? So you got to take a cold shower 3 times a day. 3 times a day, you take cold shower. And if you can't take 3 times because of work, absolutely you can take 2 times. Once in the morning, or once before bed. And it does not need to be the ultimate cold if you live in the cold countries in the world. It has to be better than normal. And when you take cold shower, you have to put water into the area around your belly button, because all the sexual nerves and veins and arteries are around the area of a belly button. So you have to put water. This will instantly calm down your sexual energy, and instead of going down, it will actually help your sexual energy, your sexual nerves to stabilize, and then ultimately promote that energy to go up. So number 2, E stands for exercise. So you put water, you use water in your favor, then you gotta exercise every day. If you are sitting all day and you're on the front of your desk, definitely you are exhausting your sexual energy and you're not channelizing it. So when you become stressed and anxious, your brain will say, let's release this stress. And then it will want to like engage in masturbation or just having random sex. But when you exercise, and preferably a fast exercise such as running, such as swimming, such as cycling, something that's fast, that actually helps to channelize and spread and use that sexual energy in the right way. So you can still do gym if you are into gym and bodybuilding, but do gym 3-4 times a week, that you must do, and still incorporate some sort of exercise that makes your body get tired. And this will help you to stimulate and redirect your sexual energy. The S in the West method stands for homemade sattvic food, which stands for you gotta eat homemade food, which is very clean energy, which is very easy for the stomach to digest. Because your stomach is the center of everything, they call it the second brain. So when you eat food that's easy for the stomach to digest, your sexual energy is not being triggered. It's not being, excited, and it stays calm. But when you eat foods which are very spicy, which are very hot, which contains elements like onion, garlic that excite the sexual energy, then it will be very hard for you to stabilize your sexual energy. So you gotta eat simple homemade foods. And again, research any successful athlete, they eat simple homemade foods. None of these creams and spiciness in their food, because they want to be a top athlete. And being a celibate or practicing semen retention is actually becoming a top athlete. Number 4, the T stands for tribe. You gotta have a tribe. I don't know who you are and how much you'd say that your willpower is, or how ambitious you are. If you don't have a tribe, if you don't have people to support you, you will not be able to overcome this. So when I was in my journey, I was in the monastery and I had people around me to support me with this. And then later I had my coaches to support me with this, personal coaches, right? So for you, you gotta find people who are in the journey of semen retention and desexualizing their brain. And if you can't find them physically, then there is a group called No Fap Wizards on Telegram, which I come across from another YouTuber that I was learning from regarding this video. There's a group called No Fap Wizards. You can join that group, and in that group, everyone's motivating each other, holding each other accountable. And if you need some personal support, there's going to be a link in the description, and I may be able to help you as a personal coach as well. So the West method: W, water; E, exercise; S, sattvic homemade food; T, your tribe. This will help you to master your physical. So second, the mental and emotional part. This is the most important part of this video. There are a series of steps you gotta take to control your mental and emotional dimension. Number 1, unfollow people on social media that triggers you. Unfollow all these influencers, models. By seeing them, it excites your sexual energy. Because if you're gonna see any videos or any photos of any model or influencer, your brain is going to get excited. Then the lust will come, and then the lust will trigger you to actually engage in that activity. It will sexualize your brain, and when the brain is sexualized, activity will happen. So unfollow people. This is absolutely a must. Number 2, do not watch short form videos. Instead, watch long form educational videos. When you will watch reels and shorts, what you're doing is actually by swiping, you're containing so much information, so much triggers are coming to your mind, and that again excites your sexual energy. And that is not good. And you actually don't get any information from that either. So you rather watch a long form video, whether it's an entertainment thing you want to watch or an educational thing, which actually gives you value and still keep your mind in the state of calmness. And when you get some value out of it, the dopamine that comes from it is actually productive dopamine. Number 3, you got to have boundaries around phone. This little guy here is the biggest problem of your situation right now. And if you do not have boundaries around it, you will struggle. So the way I do it, and I recommend to my clients, is that after 7 p.m. or 8 p.m., they close their phone. They switch off their phone, and they put the phone somewhere where they can't actually access it. So I personally leave my phone in a room downstairs where I actually will not go in the middle of the night to pick up. And then I do not watch my phone until 9 a.m. or 11 a.m. in the morning, because I want to use my mornings to do some productive, creative work, and this little guy is an attention killer. So you gotta have strong boundaries around phone. Because if you leave the phone in front of you, you will definitely watch something crazy after 8 p.m. because it's only after 8 p.m. that the energy of passion is the most highest in a day. So you have to learn to control it. Number 4, do not stare at women inappropriately. See, women are divine feminine energy. You serve them properly, you look at them properly, you treat them properly, and they will uplift you to access your divine masculine. You abuse them, you take advantage of them, and they will burn you down. That's just a fact. There's a reason why LeBron James, Virat Kohli, all these people, they do not have multiple partners. They do not have the most fanciest girls in the world because they know that women, when respected and cherished, are an absolute treasure. Women that are abused and taken advantage of actually goes into your disfavor. So control that. So an example come for me when Cristiano Ronaldo had Irina Shayk or all the people he was dating. He was good, he was really good, but he still could not access his creative genius. He only had one Ballon d'Or before that, if I'm not wrong, and he was under the shadow of Messi. The moment his current wife came into the picture and she told him, you go and play, I'm just going to love you and support your family. And then the emotion of love came in, which was not present in the relationship before with Irina Shayk. That man achieved 4 Champions League, 4 Ballon d'Ors in the next 6-7 years. Don't quote me on this, I may be wrong, but he achieved a lot of success. That happened when his love, his real women came in, when he became disciplined. So women are an energy, are a divine source to be respected, to be cherished, to be appreciated. Abuse that and you're opening your own grave. Number 5, you've got to practice some sort of meditation that involves breath work, because breath work is the bridge between your physical and subtle energy. So you will see that when you have the productivity to masturbate, you're feeling excited, stressed, anxious. This is when the desire for masturbation comes. But when you're practicing somatic breath work with some sort of meditation every day, you're actually channelizing and uplifting that energy to go up. And when the energy is going up, that need, that interest, that desire to even want to masturbate will start fading over. Number 6, you've got to live a life of purpose. You've got to go after a mission. Sexual energy is the most highly energetic energy in this universe besides love. You have to channel it. And when you live your life to help someone, to go after a mission, to fulfill some purpose that's deep within you, you're properly using and channelizing the sexual energy, and that's going to support you. But if you're not going to use it the proper way, again, that's when the brain gets sexualized and masturbation happens. So use that in some purpose, and even if you don't have your purpose right now, learn some skill. Do something that makes you feel fulfilled. Okay? Ultimately, it's not that sometimes you will have something or you're doing something that you will find fulfillment and creativity. You've got to channel your creative and purposeful energy towards something, and then you will have all the stuff that you're looking for, because sexual energy will support you to have that. Now the third part is spiritual dimension. See, I don't know what your faith is and what your belief is, whether you believe in God, maybe a name called Jesus, Krishna, Muhammad, doesn't matter. But you must believe in something higher. If it's not quote unquote God, it has to be universe or life. The thing is, you cannot actually become a celibate or actually learn to desexualize your brain unless you have a stronger purpose to go after and some spiritual energy supporting you. I always say that praying to God will make you a celibate, and celibacy will take you towards God. So you have to pray and surrender to a higher purpose. You have to ask for help, because I remember from my own journey, I could not overcome this with all the tools and the wisdom I had learned, unless a spiritual energy, a higher power supported me. Because when you learn to control your lust and become sexually disciplined, you have pretty much won in many parts of your life. You have pretty much won. Spirituality, career, mental, emotional, physical, you have won. So that makes you a rare, rare soul. And that will not come without a higher power. So you have to pray and cry to divine, to the universe, to empower you to overcome this. Because one thing is that mentally, physically, you become strong and aligned, but spiritually, it has to come within you and it has to support you. So that is very much needed, and this is why a strong spiritual connection is a must here. People who are celibate always have a strong spiritual connection towards God. And it is that connection with God that makes you live a life of celibacy and sexual discipline. And the joy, the fulfillment, the energy that comes from being a celibate and having your brain desexualize, having being on both sides of the spectrum in this life, I will always choose this. It is just fulfillment, it is just pure ecstasy. And then living a life where you're masturbating or having sex and, you know, doing all kind of stuff is a life of misery. Because you think you're having fun, but in reality, the fun controls you. So thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you find some true value. Please let me know in the comments if you have any questions. I'll reply to them. And as a fellow brother, there's nothing I wish more than you becoming sexually disciplined. So ultimately, you can find a loyal, beautiful, surrendered partner. You can live a life of purpose. You can have access to spiritual dimensions that's beyond the physical, and you can live with pure joy and contentment. If you need any help with this, you can also reach out to me. You can fill in the form for a personal coaching. My team can reach out to you. Or you can also join our webinar where I teach people how to overcome their emotional blocks and live a life of peak performance. So you can do that. Thank you for watching. I'll see you soon.